And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a show about May the 11th on May the 12th. For those with noses for the news, and we say hello to Golden Coin 100 first in the live chats. Can we take a moment to talk about nostalgia loops? Seems like old times. Jet Petty. Second in the live chat. Remember perverted? What was it? Not. It was like sofa kitty perverted. I want to say perverted sofa, but I know that wasn't it. This is like there was an original, an account that you had that had to get, like way later changed or transformed. And if I remember correctly, it probably did. There was a guy that was hijacking accounts, and that person was, to the best of my recollection and knowledge, Jam Shtick Jack Smith, the guy that was the only person that had basically adopted this kind of general area of the internet, kind of, to like, do their hacking skills and to experiment and to do a kind of like art of whatever. Mario Heat. I was listening to JFS, King Cobra JFS's Blunt Raps and Cobra Coil's rap album. Yeah, no, but he did. He came back. He came back briefly. Here's the thing. That's actually fortuitous. So, but Mario Heat, third in the live chat. So we have Golden Coin 100 with the gold, ironically. Ironic. We have Jet Petty with the silver, Mario Heat with the bronze. It's not new music. It's definitely not new music, but it is King Cobra JFS's latest gift to the world. I was there at the listening party with him. Quite the revelation. That didn't happen on May the 11th, though many things did. But here's the thing. So this is about nostalgia loops. This is about what Terence McKenna and his brother discovered with their time wave zero experiments on ayahuasca with the I Ching in the jungles. They of course were wrong, but with their theory of novelty, that number one, that the world was going to end in 2012, or something was going to happen in 2012, just as the Mayans predicted. Remember that the part of the whole lead up to 2012 thing was also Terence McKenna's Time Wave Zero, that Terence McKenna and his brother had cast the I Ching coins, in like literally, I think it was like in the jungles of Peru or whatever, while they were on ayahuasca, and had come up with this, they had cast the hexagram like 108 times, or whatever, and like had lined it up with like world history and like whatever, like figured out that like, I don't know, they discovered some sort of pattern. And that's what they discovered, this whole like their theory of like time wave zero. It was Terence McKenna and his brother that did it, like I think together. And because Terence McKenna was, the famous one, it's Terence McKenna's Time Wave Zero, right? But one of their key things was and it basically, when they did it, they said they basically did this like long cast of the I Ching and basically figured out that it lined up with like, all of recorded human history, that, like, there were patterns that lined up with, like, the fall of the Roman Empire and the rise of Egypt, or like whatever, all these things. Like, we're look at it. I'm not gonna tell the whole thing, whatever. And it's been years since I thought about it all. We also say hello to Jason Albert, the honorable mention. We've given out the medals, but we still give an honorable mention to the fourth runner up. Magic number 4 for me. I love the number 4. 2, 11, 4, 8. I'll mention the magic numbers because we're going to mention a whole bunch of things that line up with this and lead up to this whole culmination of evidence of why May 11th seems David Bucky. May 11th was David Bucky's birthday. I'm telling you, folks, I've talked about this before. Because of my concentration on the nostalgia loops, the 20-year nostalgia loop is my primary nostalgia loop that I've been studying since the year 2000. Planning to write a book on it, noting beginning that day that everything that really has been going on and everything that can think of been going on since, in modern media and recorded history is a repeat of what's been happening 20 years prior. As we started working with it, publicly together on YouTube, on my former channel, and part of this, SSP, Secret Space Program Whistleblower School. And as we evolved it on into the SSP meta RPG, time travel as role-playing game, occult experiment on the Blueberry Wolf Bridge No Intro RPG channel, sister channel to this channel that's still running and going on. I concentrate and look on the 20-year cycles, the 25-year cycles, the 30-year cycles. So I'm always looking at dates and doing research on what's been going on in the past. So for months now, as a regular part of my daily practices, Wikipedia has an entry for every date of the calendar. And May 11th is no exception. But doing this, what I noted, and it is empirical evidence. It's man's observation. It's not statistical. It's not scientific. It is looking at shapes in the clouds. But it is what it is, folks. And what I'll tell you is that what Terence McKenna had noted in his Time Wave Zero, this notion of looking at patterns in the waves of history and noting that there are periods of novelty, meaning that humans seem to just kind of do the same thing over and over and over and over again, and then at some point just go and do something really ridiculous and amazing that just changes everything. Like the computers. Or agriculture. Or language. So, but then they'll go back to long periods of stasis. So it's these bursts of novelty that Terence and his brother noted, that things weren't just, humans didn't just, and human behavior and human history didn't just go in one straight line, just going to go like this, like we see in animals around us, like sharks are another, like you can define humans as an apex predator in our environment, the meta apex predator. But unlike other apex predators that we see in other environments like sharks and lions and tigers and bears, oh my, we keep on doing different things. Whereas other species seem to just always settle on one pattern of behavior and then just do that. But in noting these things, we don't always just do the same rate of change. It's not like we're just constantly changing at the same rate. It's these bursts of novelty. So in a smaller way, when I look at these dates, I'll note that the expectation would be that on May 11th, May 12th, May 13th, June the 1st, April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, I would see and note for any particular day the same amount of stuff. What I was expecting when I was beginning this journey of noting days and time loops was that I would be able to come and every day kind of basically have pre-planned nostalgia loop stuff to go, because on any day there would be always famous birthdays, famous deaths, famous this, famous that, and all of these amazing things always happening, because there have been shows where we've said that this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, all in this one day. Not on this one particular day, but on April 21st, April 19th, we found, as opposed to April 20th, which was really not that remarkable at all. But that was part of the point. We noted that on April 20th, besides the birth of Hitler and some dumb reason for hippies to make a particular day synonymous with weed, there's nothing really noteworthy about April 20th. Whereas on April 19th, bananas, all sorts of crazy stuff happened all throughout human history. But on April 19th, stuff happens. May 11th is one of those days. And what was interesting is because for me, on May 11th, obviously, a lot of stuff happened as well in my, in the old life. We say hello to Jonaside as well. And what's noteworthy for me is that it's noteworthy to note how my attitude and opinion about things have changed. There are some people that have been with me over the long haul, right? And we can look and we can know that there were particular points in time when, like, the CW Chanter channel was going on a trajectory of growth. We had known what we were doing. There were periods where we were like, it was about this, it's about that, what we were doing, but we kind of knew that there was a CW Chanter project and it was about this thing and it was going in this particular direction. But then all of a sudden, we discovered that over a course of time, and a lot of it had to do with, I think, the U.S. presidency. And that just kind of also worked into a lot of stuff with my personal life, and also just the interconnected stories and the intertwined stories and all that stuff. And then there was a period of time where I was like staying in the old town after, well, here's a metaphor, right? Like the football hero who stays in the hometown after graduating high school and after the high school sweetheart has even decided to leave town for away school, like not really knowing what I was doing in the space, kind of kicking the tires all the time. I was like, we're going to do this. And then I think it's really healthy now that I've kind of we're not going back. There was a couple of videos that I made recently regarding, David Wilcock. And I tell you folks that there was a video that I watched of David Wilcock that I made notes, just like I made notes for the two videos or one video prior to his. And I made it, and then I was, through a course of time, and I was looking at the notes, and I pulled tarot cards about it, whatever, and then I realized the real test was I had made the notes, it was all ready to go, and I could do another David Wilcock analysis, but why? So some dude, like, on Twitter, I guess, was trying to like get my attention, sent me something. If you've got me blocked, I can't see what you send me on Twitter, baby. So, you know what I mean? And here's the other thing. You really shouldn't be adding people on messages on Twitter if you've got active lawsuits against them. That's really not how it's done. Really should talk to your attorney about that. And also, you have to unblock us if you want us to see anything other than that. You're sending me like, this tweet's unavailable messages. So I don't really, I don't care. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, and I'm also like, whether like, that they're like, you sent like, personal message my way, via, a YouTube, whatever. And, whatever, dude, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean? You want to follow me to the end of the earth? If you love me that much, you know what I mean? Like, when you get here to the end of the earth following me, give me a hug. I love you. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It is what it is, baby. You know what I mean? Like, I do not hate anybody. I love everybody. I ain't out to destroy nobody. I have never tried to destroy or really hurt nobody ever in my life. That is for real. That is for real. Honestly. When I have discussions with people and I've been like, yo, I end every video when I talked about that guy, and I've been like, I love him. And I said, this is not going to end well, and I'm trying to warn him, and blah, blah, blah. They were also like, yeah, and you were also pissed off, and you were also trying to, you were building your channel, and you knew that people were watching you too, right, dude? And I'm like, yeah, too, that too, but, I do, then I would say to those people, I'd say, but you don't think I was really trying to destroy him? I said, the people that know me and like, my friends, I said, people who know me, I said, you don't think I have never done violence to nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a hater. And if anyone ever said, if with this next act you shall vanquish and destroy your enemy, I wouldn't do that. No, I would not destroy my enemy. I've never tried to. I've tried to prevent people from hurting the innocent. I'm not gonna stand idly by when somebody takes money from people that under bad things. I'm going to try and tell people and explain to people what I think is bad medicine. I'm going to speak truth in the marketplace of ideas. That's how America functions. You do not have the right to just speak without people criticizing or critiquing you. I understand that you perceive that as people trying to destroy you. I cannot operate under your perceptions. I have to, you know what I mean? I'm sorry. But it is what it is. I've said it before, I said it again, people just need to wake up to reality. And I've said long ago that some people are their own worst enemies. And instead of keep on fighting the people that keep on telling them, dude, this is not going to end well, you should listen. Because long ago when I was telling certain people, this is not going to end well, if they had stopped then, they would have more money in their pocket. They would have had more time to rethink their next move and maneuver and move on to whatever the heck they wanted to do. Whether it was writing something creative as fiction, whether it was just moving on to a next regular life, whether it's being a security guard or whatever. But as far as, you know what I mean, here's the deal. Here's the reality of the situation today. Once you've committed perjury, you ain't suing anybody ever again. And whatever you think is the good reason to, or the fair reason, or the okay reason to commit perjury, there is none. It is against the law. You can't say under oath in a deposition one thing and have something say another thing elsewhere. It's not the way it works. But if you don't want to deal with reality, don't deal with reality. But if you want to deal with reality, you'll be happier. Here's the reality. I wanted to say nothing about the past. I didn't succeed. But Masi Menos, I see. We'll make the most of it. We'll do what we do. May 11th, many interesting things happened. May 11th, many interesting things happened. Obviously, some a little bit ire inducing, but not that much and not really that bad. I move on. We move on. What I've learned in doing these nostalgia loop studies is that sometimes there are things that jump off the page or jump off the connected dots on the corkboard to me that may not be as patently obvious to the crowd. And I think I can come off a little bit insane when I enthusiastically keep on reiterating the same points. So maybe it's best we say hello to Lunar Sparkles. Lunar Sparkles, who notes that she saw the notification on YouTube. Something worthy of note. Jason Albert, it's always sunny in Philadelphia. Come on now. On May the 11th, with little knowledge of the information bombs that were being queefed onto the internet, I was on my RPG channel talking about a methodology for the quick absorption and acquisition of printed material. We specifically talked about and looked at a couple of books. I'm going to show you those books and briefly talk about and touch upon the materials, the themes of the books, and, what they're about, only because I think that it'll add to, we say hello to Paranormal Hood Live. It will add to it makes up some of what I find interesting in the events of May the 11th throughout history. What I'm going to say is that when we look at the events of May the 11th, and this is just, we are looking, and I concede again that we're looking at shapes in the clouds. We're playing with man's natural tendency to recognize patterns, and we are playing with that to inure and engage in a process of self-hypnosis to achieve an effect, to beguile ourselves, to create a sense of wonder. Wait, let me take a quick look at the live chat. Here we go. We also say hello to, we have Jonaside joining us. We have Renee, Miss Jonaside. Renee, Miss Jonaside, the hello is belated. I apologize. David Bucky, I've been here since the Ruiner days. There you go. That's Jump Street. Jason Albert, top 10 songs, 2013, May 11th. Kesha, Mickey Aiko, Suit and Tie featuring Jay-Z, Mirrors, When I Was Your Man, Pitbull, Feel This Moment, Thrift Shop, Pink, Macklemore featuring Brian Lewis. Oh my. Jeez. So Mendoza leaked Wilcox's phone number and like Jimmy Church's a bunch of people. I didn't even see that deep into it. I know that he dropped people's depositions. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want to. The Jones said I'm late. Is the Mendoza thing he streamed today? I didn't watch it. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? All that, you know. I don't want to. I don't want to talk about it anymore. You know what I mean? I saw Laura Eisenhower post something too about Mendoza doxing again. Well, there you go. Well, it is what it is. Yeah, she was on the list. He showed on camera people's numbers and email, unredacted, and they all seem like his frenemies. That's a king. He just pulled a King Cobra JFS. Hold on. We're doing it. Hold on. Hold on. Give me a moment. I wasn't planning for costuming. Hold on. Hold on. I need a bandana. What the word? I need a hat. Jeez. What was this? Oh God, I got nothing. Will this work? Hold on. I'll be right back. I need a mirror. Hold on. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. No, I won't. Fuck yourselves. Oh, you can support me on Patreon. Oh my God, this case has been going on so long, I don't even know how much my attorney's fees are. Whatever they are, I don't care. How about that, buddy? And if you're looking at the satisfaction of saying, oh, I cost this jackass this much in attorney's fees, guess what? You didn't cost me anything in attorney's fees. You know what cost me that in attorney's fees? I cost myself that in attorney's fees. I take the responsibility myself, my homie, because I love you. I want to have you take that responsibility. Am I looking like King Cobra JFS or am I looking like a chef? This is not working. Hold on. Let's see. Of course, I'm all out of, I'm not color coded. That's the problem. You know, fuck mass shootings and fuck the trolls. No, I'm serious, man. No, you know, and you know, first of all, I didn't dox. Stop saying I doxed Jimmy Church and stop saying I doxed Laura Eisenhower. Okay? It's not what happened. Okay? My phone was charging and it fell down and it accidentally showed people's names. But the people that names I did show that were trolling me and were part of the Dark Alliance the whole time, yeah, fuck those guys. I meant to, I don't apologize to them at all. Fuck those guys. Beaky birds will get you. I got beaky birds all over the place. Better recognize. Yo, don't cross the streams. Hashtag beaky birds. Yo. But it's cool. We say hello to Keats. Jason Albert, you need to do this in a Stephen Wright character? Oh God, okay. There you go. Da 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 da. Listen. Here we go. Here we go. There you go. There you go. Luna Sparkle's listening to Sonic Youth. All right. Why not May 15th? Well, that's what we're going to go to. We say hello to Stephen Durant. Stephen Durant says, I hope one day CW can give a deep dive on the whole Mendoza case. I mean, I think that, that means like, basically the deal is this, is that, do you really need me to? The thing is this, is that, everybody, the salient facts are really the reality is already known to you, which is, there's this whole thing is bullshit. So, you don't need me I mean, I would love to talk, but I can't talk, freely because, I've been sued. You know what I mean? So nobody, then, and of course, it is what it is. But I think it's probably for the best because I think, my work, whatever work I was doing or intended to do in the world of, conspiracy and ufology, I think was done. And I think that's why we had that period of time, in, 2022, after, um, explaining E and me broke up, where, it's just kind of, adrift, not really knowing what to do. But then, now that I've gone on to the Blueberry Wolf Bridge channel in the RPG community, not that there's really a community there, but, I think, nothing is meant to last forever. It's like, even like jobs, there's some people that stay at jobs and they go and they start working at a factory, when they're 18 or right out of high school, and then they die there. You know what I mean? And that's like, and they're cool with that. And like, that was their trip, and they're happy for the job satisfaction. They're happy for the job, security, and, and that's what's up. In me and my life history, with everything, it just seems that there's a period of time and then things, get, done. So I think like, it's not that I'm like, gonna take the CW Chanter channel and, burn it to the ground. But I think that if I do anything like that, I think if you hear anything like that from me, it'll be like one day if I write a biography, you'll hear that. But I don't think there's ever going to be a period of time where I'm going to like necessarily return to that case and talk about it, unless there's like a particular reason to. Hey, Lunar Sparkle's got some stuff going on. It is what it is, Lunar Sparkle says, anyway, thinking about lawyers and the AI tells me that CW is live. Hey, listen, I would love it if I didn't connect at the nexus of lawyers and anything, because I tell people all the time, I say, hey, listen, I got a doctorate in jurisprudence because I was told this amazing promise and of bullshit by, this guy that I really should have known at that point in my life was lying to me. I really don't consider myself a lawyer. It's a job. But people think of me as that. It is what I do, and maybe it's not important for me to fight it. It is what it is, and it's like if the nexus of connections in your brain or in people's brains have me there, then there's no reason. I'm not. It is what it is, and the point is you got here, so I'm thankful for it. Don't fight anything. It's like everything happens. You know what I mean? Just it is what it is. Nolan 4112, terrible ball guy impression. Glasses didn't even break away. I know. Though there was no stop bubbles. I didn't get the accent right. I left my dog collar at home. Jesus. Here we go. David Bucky, I'm listening to the Romeo and Juliet 96 soundtrack, Deep Cuts. I remember working at Compact Disc World in Paramus, New Jersey when that thing was released on I remember when that thing came out, and I remember it the CD, and I remember stocking also that. I remember also when it came out on VHS, stocking the VHS tape. And I remember when it came out because I was a huge Claire Danes fan. So I saw that movie in the theater like twice. No shit. No shit. Jonas, I've been with CW before the lawsuits to kind of know what's going on. David Bucky, I think Mr. Bumble's on it. Wow. All I remember from the soundtrack was the Love Me song by the Cardigans and the that amazing, oh God. Oh, I won't be able to name it. But it's like Stephen Durant talking about QAnon podcast. There you go. There you go. In Lunar Sparkles. In 1995, we were with my foster dad recording them at the Warfield. Wow! Holy crap! Talking about Sonic Youth. Wow. Yeah. No shush, Lunar Sparkles. Go nuts. Oh God, you're killing me, Jason Albert. You're so young. I love you. I'm gonna forgive you for this, but if we met in the '90s and you dropped these names, I'd have to kick your ass. Jason Albert. '90s were cool. Early Bush, no doubt. Silverchair, Nine Inch Nails. The Nine Inch Nails. Okay, no doubt. Silverchair, Bush. Young man. Young man. Mario Heat, CW, who you got? Wings or Boogie? Shut the fuck up, bitch. I lost $10,000. I had all my money on DSP. Oh! Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba! Oh! Hashtag no beaky. No beakity. You gotta wrap it up. Oh! I think I'm a comedian. It was the early Bush, no doubt. Here we go, David Bucky. I like Shirley Manson singing "I Would Die for You." She was my crush, like CW liked Janine Garofalo. Hey, like I liked everybody. I gotta tell you, Bush. Ooh, Synth Rebellion. Well, you feel that way now, young man. But when you get older, you'll understand. There's things about a woman that they seem gross and icky now, but you'll actually find kind of intriguing and interesting. But you'll get there in time. Right now, all you got to do is cast that reel, kid. We're here to fish. See what I did there? Whatever money you got, tip DSP directly. Yeah, I also have a Patreon too, but you know what I mean? No one ever tips me. It's been a real, I've got, yo, man, everyone's out here complaining. Meanwhile, I'm working on King Cobra's dry spell. I got DSP's lack of tips. And the only difference between me and fucking Wings of Redemption is he's got Kelly. Literally. And I ain't here looking at no underage, Call of Duty girls at none. And we didn't even get to May 11th. Yo, you're throwing me. Here we go. Freebirds here as well. That's it. Yo, I learned about placebo from a garbage magazine CD-ROM. Those were the days. Yo. Oh my God. Whatever little money you got, just the tip. Okay, here we go. We talked about Savage Worlds. Riffs. So this is one entire world. Riffs was the brainchild of an RPG creator, Kevin Sambita, who created a grand meta narrative and world mechanic that could take basically all of his other games that he had invented for his publishing company, Palladium Books, in the early 90s and join them all together. This Savage Worlds role-playing game system in 2016 made a big push to bring that whole world to their gaming system. This was one of those books. So we have, in the world of RPGs from the early 90s on the 20-year nostalgia loop, because Rifts had a big time in 93. It was originally published in like 1990, but it was, it had several iterations, and 93 was definitely a big time for Rifts. So in 2016, coming back a lot on a lot of loops, we have this. When was this book published? 2016. We talked about this. It's a post-apocalyptic world where portals from all other dimensions open up and bring their energy into Earth. So we have worlds coming into worlds, and then those worlds being transferred, and then we also have this concept of meta RPGs, right? Because we have entire worlds being created to take disparate worlds within one company, Palladium Books back in the day, and join them all together. And then we have that concept being taken into another RPG world system almost 20 or 30 years later, or 25 years later, plopped into another world system to do that whole thing again, to be able to bring all these different worlds of fantasy, worlds of cyberpunk, worlds of vampires, worlds of aliens, and worlds of conspiracy theorists and of the modern world and weird World War II and Cthulhu and all that shit, and let them all come and bring into the worlds and interact with each other. Much like we see, or could be a possible metaphor for what's happening in the world today with all these people, all this disparate information, all these different worldviews, esoteric and bizarre worldviews coming together and mixing together. And if we think it sounds far-fetched and weird, remember, it will only get stranger as people enter into more and more convincing virtual reality spaces, and convincing virtual reality spaces where they have more and more autonomy over how things are constructed and look. And we see things happening with AI being able to help us with that. We had Full of Acid joins us as well. No. Be very careful, Ed Full of Acid. Be very careful. It's similarities of names and metaphors. His Wings of Redemption's wife actually is named Kelly. Here we go. David Bucky. I played Rifts with my older friends in the 90s. I was 12. They were like 15. I felt so cool being in their group. Then my older sis found out and asked me why I hung out with the losers. Absolutely. I'm kind of king of the dipshits. We also talked at length about Providence, a game right on the 25-year nostalgia loop from a game from 1998 about angelic beings exiled to a strange world. A detailed description of all the major races, including Trupal, Bat, Gargoyle, Dragon, and Eagle. It was a trip. And don't forget what the central word Providence means. Now, this is where it got very interesting, because we talked about Conspiracy, Shadows of the Mind, which is basically a role-playing game from 1998, right on the 25-year nostalgia loop. That is a conspiracy theory game that is entirely note for note, pound for pound, step for step, the conspiracy theories that we all know and love. It's all here. MK Ultra, Project Artichoke, parapsychology, mind control, ESP. It's all right here to be role played. And we talked at length about it. And we specifically looked at something called time bombs. Where was it? Time bombs. The time bombs that MK Ultra created in the 1950s and 1960s continue to tick away in America's population, unaware of their hidden nature. If a character is a time bomb, the game master should either decide upon a trigger phrase that will set the character off or choose a dramatically appropriate moment for the character to turn homicidal. We also talked about GURPS Illuminati University and GURPS Y2K Countdown to Armageddon. Nolan 412, Conspiracy Meta Theory. All conspiracy theories are regurgitations of 1990 sci-fi and RPGs. Nolan 412. I don't know how new you are to this channel or how long you've been involved. That conspiracy meta theory that you just laid out is basically part and parcel of what we've been talking about, or what I've been talking about since like 2018 on this channel and my other main channel, CW Chanter. If you look at the SSP Secret Space Program Whistleblower School series of videos, and then if you go over to the Blueberry Wolf Bridge No Intro RPG and mess around, you'll see that that a lot of what we're talking about. I hear you. It's retro causality. That's perfectly acceptable. If it's retro causality, however it's caused, God bless it. Right, they were friends. I had fun with them. I'm glad they were cool and accepting when everyone their age were jerks to them. There you go. Here we go. I pop in now and again since you plucked the blue chicken. Hey, listen, stick around. It sounds like you'd be a welcome addition to the cast. It sounds like you would enjoy what we're talking about, what's going on. There you go. Chauncey Thackeray. I used to be with it till they changed to what it was. There you go. And it's the truth. So that is a little bit of the seed information to know where we were looking at, what I was reading and speaking of on May the 11th. If we're looking at what we're about to go into. So we know what I was reading and talking about on May the 11th, unaware of what was going on in the micro history of the recent past of the CW Chanter channel. Then we touched upon and obviously talked a little bit about the CW Chanter channel old stuff. Okay? Now, that was all related to yesterday, May 11th. So now we're going to look at Wikipedia's entry for May the 11th and see all the banana stuff that happened throughout history on May the 11th. So what I'm going to suggest is the stuff that I was reading and the fact that we saw banana stuff in an explosion of activity with with what's his face, no insults, with whatever someone felt the need to activate. Because remember, I read that thing about time bombs, right? So we have activation. Someone went into motion and kicked shit up on May the 11th. Okay? I was reading this shit. I was reading RPG books, not giving a damn. They kicked up and whatever. There was the flurry of no activity. Well, people made podcasts or people broadcast. I don't give a fuck. And then this is the other stuff that happened in the world on May the 11th throughout history. And I'll do a share screen. So you have what I'm going to suggest is so I don't go blah, 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 blah. You have the old stuff. You have the stuff that I was reading. You have the personal history. And now what we're going to do is look. Abe Simpson. I believe in his name. Points. I believe Abe Simpson. Yes, the grandpa. Points. It'll happen to you. No way, man. I'm gonna be cool forever. Yeah, you wish. Anyway, we'll do the share screen. We'll show the Wikipedia page, And then, well, fair use, fair use, fair use. Fuck you, Wikipedia. No, come on. I love Wikipedia. God damn it. You know what I mean? Come on. Shit. Yeah. Here we go. May 11th. Check this shit out, honey. There are some days that I've got nothing. I look at the day. I'm like, what do you got for me May the 9th? And May the 9th is like Pee Wee Herman crossed the road. And in 13739, the great Arab leader, Bulhoop, crossed. Nothing happened. Anyway, and then there's May the 11th. Check this shit out. May 11th is the 131st day, 131 day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. 234 days remain until the end of the year. Okay, events. This goes pre-1600. 330, 33. Illuminati. Illuminati. Constantine the Great. Some say the man who invented Christianity. I don't say that. Joseph Atwill says it. I think that's his name. Dedicates the much. I think that was Constantine. I think it was Constantine. Dedicates the much expanded and rebuilt city of Byzantium, changes its name to New Rome, and declaring it the new capital of the Eastern Roman Empire. It didn't last. That's my understanding. I mean, it lasts a little bit. 868. 868. Now check this out. The first date of note is 330. The second date of note is 868. And check what it is. A copy of the Diamond Sutra is published, making it the earliest and dated and printed book known. It's a Buddhist text. 973. So the publication of information. So we have the dedicating of a rebuilt city. So we have the first thing we see is on the 3-3, we have trying to start something new on something old. The next thing we have is the publication of the Diamond Sutra. But this was actually, I think it was actually the translation of it from the original Pali into Chinese. Then that's how it was published. It was put into a scroll. Or maybe that was I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. 973. In the first coronation ceremony ever held for an English monarch. 973 ends in a 3, so we're on like some sort of anniversary for it. In the first coronation ceremony ever held for an English monarch, Edgar the Peaceful is crowned King of England, having ruled since 959 AD. So he's ruled for a whole period of time. He's ruling for 14 years before he gets around to having a coronation ceremony. Talk about peaceful. His wife, who's got this fucking name, how the hell do you pronounce that? Is crowned queen. The first recorded coronation for a queen of England. All right. How about it? 1068, Matilda of Flanders. How about that? Wife of William the Conqueror is crowned Queen of England. That seems cool. 1258, Louis IX of France. Whatever. I mean, there's some of the stuff are great, some of the stuff is whatever. Here we go. 1812, Prime Minister Spencer Perceval is assassinated by John Billingham in the lobby of the British House of Commons. Talk about things you're not going to get away with, right? 1813, another ending in 3. William Lawson, Gregory Blaxland, and William Wentworth discover a route across the... Folks, the name of my channel, RPG channel, is Blueberry Wolf Bridge. They discover a route across the Blue Mountains, opening up inland Australia to settlement. I just love coincidences. We're having fun here. But opening up, we had the spreading of information, trying to start something new on something old, and we have opening up into the Blue Mountains. 1857, Indian Rebellion. Indian rebels seize Delhi from the British. 1880, 7 people are killed in the Muscle Slow tragedy, a gun battle in California. Okay. So this was a wildcat strike. In 1894, 4,000 Pullman Palace Car Company workers go on a wildcat strike. Okay. 1970, the 1970 Lubbock tornado kills 26, 2 plus 6 is 8, and causes $250 million in damages. 1985, 56 spectators die and more than 200 are injured in the Bradford City Stadium fire. Now, 1997, 26 years ago, Deep Blue, a chess-playing supercomputer, defeats Garry Kasparov in the last game of the rematch, becoming the first computer to beat a world champion chess player in a classic match format. Case for the 25-year nostalgia loop. Now remember, it doesn't have to be on the money. It doesn't have to be exactly 25 years. It doesn't have to be exactly 20 years. It doesn't have to be exactly 30 years. Is not the name of the game, is not the story of the day. AI, ChatGPT, AI, ChatGPT, AI, ChatGPT. What was the story of the day 25 years ago? Deep Blue beating Garry Kasparov, the unbeatable chess champion. And folks, we saw the Blue Mountains opening up, and here we have Deep Blue. And what was going on yesterday? Some news in the world of, but check this out. Right on the 25-year nostalgia loop, India conducts 3 underground atomic tests in Pokhran. And remember, the Pokhran 2 tests were a series of 5 nuclear bomb test explosions conducted by India at the Indian Army's Pokhran test range in May of 1988. It was the second instance of nuclear testing conducted by India. The first test, codenamed Smiling Buddha, was conducted in May of 1974. I was born in August of 1975, and remember the second instance of a historical event happening on May 11th was the publication of the Diamond Sutra. Speaking of 2s and 11s, on 2011, May 11th, 2011, an earthquake of magnitude 5.1 hit Lorca, Spain. In 2013, remember when we read Shadows of the Mind, we specifically read the part about time bombs. We're looking at patterns in the clouds, folks. We're just playing games. 2013, 10-year nostalgia loop. 52 people are killed in a bombing in Turkey. In 2020, that was last year, the Burmese military executed at least 37 villagers during the Maung Tao Ping massacre in Sang, Myanmar. That's just proof, if you want to know, that Buddhists can be as bloodthirsty as anybody else. I believe that's what we need to learn from that. Now, look, it's when we get to births and deaths that we're going to see some interesting stuff too. But before we get to births and deaths, does anybody have any feedback on what we've seen so far? Here we go. Going back. Wait, this is okay. I don't know. You're right. So May 11th, 1987, Phoenix, Arizona, at North Central Hospital, a 13.8-pound baby boy was born, and it was all downhill from there. 13.8 pounds? Holy shit. Isn't that large? That's crazy. Nolan 421 woke Rome. There you go. Here we go. Genocide, Roman Empire never fell. It moved to Istanbul. So there you go. There you go. But that's what I mean. Like it moved. It moved. David Bucky, there you go. I had the record at the hospital for like 2 years, and a 14-pound baby was born, stole my shine. Not only stole his shine, he killed his mom. Here you go. Nolan 412 did go Muslim and lasted until World War II. Hey, there you go. We say hello to Lee Bowen. Lee Bowen, welcome to the live stream. Lee Bowen remembers the Bradford football stadium fire. 1973 this go around. Deep Blue. I heard Deep Blue, they just had a whole team of pro chess players basically telling them where to go, but who knows? No, absolutely, Dave Bucky. There is actually a documentary film that I think David Bucky is referring to, or maybe referring to, or the story is put in, that basically examines the Deep Blue Garry Kasparov chess match and matches, because it was actually a series of matches, asking the question about whether or not Deep Blue, the computer, did it itself, or whether or not it was just, some basically kind of a chicanery thing. Like, it was, kind of, being worked by operators, And there's a documentary about it. I forget what it's called, like Kasparov versus the Machine, or something. I forget what it's called, but it's interesting to look at. There you go. Nolan 412 says significant day established. Lunar Sparkle says checkmate. There you go. RMFN says I'm late. RMFN says shout out to Melta 2000. There you go. We also say hello to Tim Frey. Okay, there we go. Here we go. So when we get to the births and the deaths, we're going to see some stuff go too. We're going to see some interesting stuff. Check this out. Look at this. 1888. Irving Berlin is born. A Belarusian American pianist and composer who died in 1989 at 101 years old, right? Am I doing my math correctly? I think I'm doing my math correctly. Now, I'll tell you something. For a brief period of time, yours truly was 50% owner of an Irving Berlin painting. I was, because my father owned an Irving Berlin painting. So when he passed away, me and my brother inherited it. It was part of the collection that we sold. There's a reason why he's famous for being a pianist and a composer. Whenever my father would show me the paint, I'd be like, why'd you buy that? He's like, it's Irving Berlin. I'd be like, I could have painted it. He's like, it's an investment. Anyway. But check out that date. 1895. Jiddu Krishnamurti, who was going to be by the Theosophical Society thought he was going to be the next, he thought it was going to be like Jesus Christ, until he said there's no way, and he left, but he still became his own man, his own speaker. But I gotta tell you that if you look at May 12th, I think they put his birthday as that too. So I think there's some question about what day he was actually born. But that is an interesting name as well. Salvador Dali in 1904. And think about who these people are. when we come to Irving Berlin and the date that Irving Berlin is born, 1888, and lives to be 101 years old. Salvador Dali, Jiddu Krishnamurti, picked to be the Theosophical Society's, handpicked messiah. Salvador Dali and his explosion of impact on the arts. Now check this out. When we're thinking about that energy and how that energy can be expressed in the arts or expressed in the sciences, because look at this name. In 1918, Richard Feynman is born. And look, he dies in 1988. $1933. 33. Louis Farrakhan is born. 1941, Eric Burden of the Animals and War. Why Can't We Be Friends is born. I sometimes I miss names. I might skip by somebody. Or someone I just don't know. There's more though. But Richard Feynman alone and Jiddu Krishnamurti and Salvador Dali by themselves, I think, makes it. Before we go to the deaths, we'll pause on just the births that we noted. Just the births that we noted. Extremely influential, Lee Bone, extremely influential people. Salvador Dali, not the Dalai Lama, Salvador Dali, the artist. You crazy kids. Now we're going to deaths. In 1889. Oh, no, wait. This should be he died. John Cadbury, the English businessman, the philanthropist who founded the Cadbury Company, died in 1889. The year after the birth of who? The first guy we talked to, someone, 1888, someone famous, I forget. One person enters, one person leaves. Cadbury cream eggs. Don't forget. 1960, John D. Rockefeller Jr. died. 1981, Bob Marley passed away on May the 11th, 1981. And if you want to know how fucking old we are and how much time has passed, back in the day when I was 20 years ago, we would have noted and remembered the anniversary of the death of Bob Marley. But there's no national news. There's no regular broadcast news. Everyone gets their news from this podcast or this podcast, this YouTube talking head, this YouTube talking head. So everyone gets their news, and their news is some bullshit about this little internet skiff, this little internet brush up. Wings of Redemption is going to butt box this other fatso, and DSP's losing his nut to Keemstar, and someone got doxxed by Soul Glow. You know what I mean? The anniversary of Bob Marley's death was on, and what anniversary? Hold on, 1981, 1983 would have been the 40th anniversary. So this is it's the 38th anniversary. So wait, no, yeah. No. So that means 2 years ago in 2021 was the 40th anniversary of the death of Bob Marley. I know no one noted it. Born in 1945. 2001, Douglas Adams died. author of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So exactly 20 years after Bob Marley died on May 11th, Douglas Adams died. But they were just 7 years apart in age. Because Bob Marley was born in 1945 and Douglas Adams was born in 1952. Douglas Adams wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yo, that's crazy. 2003, Noel Redding, the original bass player for Jimi Hendrix Experience, died. He was also born in 1945. 2020, we lost Jerry Stiller, father of Ben Stiller. So there you go. Wait, what is this? Mammertus, the first day of the Ice Saints. The Ice Saints are Saint Myrmitus, Saint Pancras, and Saint Servetus. They are so named because their feast days fall on the days of May 11th, May 12th, and May 13th, respectively, known as the Blackthorn Winter in Austrian, Belgian, Croatian, Czech, Dutch. Why is it called Blackthorn Winter? Why are those 3 days Blackthorn Winter? The hell is that? Oh, Blackthorn Winter. It's so called because it typically falls when blackthorn is flowering. What's blackthorn? Blackberry Winter. Oh, I guess that's what they call blackberry. Okay, you son of a bitch. I don't know why I cursed them out for that. Bob Marley and Douglas Adrian, and it's 42 years after Marley's death. 42? Wait, what? Let's be careful. Let's not confuse ourselves. Not the Cadbury. He said Nolan 412, not the Cadbury rabbit hole. But it's there. It's there at the center of the labyrinth. It's exactly where you don't want to go. It's where you're scared to go. That's where it is. The answer. My Jordan B. Peterson. Thank you. Douglas Adams. Your dad's investment painter, 1888. CW, there you go. Not even Snoop Dogg celebrated. Well, he's spaced on the day. He's got an excuse. Listen. Lee Bowen. I never saw a thing about Bob's 40th death date on TV because there's no one keeps track anymore. There's too many people to keep track of. There's too many so-called famous people. There's too many people to keep track of. Timestamp. There you go. It's always in the last place you look. Wait, what? In 2009, May 11th, Justin Bieber tweeted his first tweet. Entirely possible. We're going with it. I forget people died. There you go. There you go. Bob Marley, poet and a prophet. Bob Marley, show me how to rock it. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Mama said there'd be days like this. Certain days stick out. If we went and I showed you the Wikipedia page for May 12th, you would see the anticlimactic proof of my conclusion that some days are different than others. Some days, like May 11th, we see this. It was slow going because I go through in real time. I don't take notes and I look at it and I say, oh, it's one of these days. And then I go back and I do it with you guys. I don't write these things out, though I could and I should. And if I did and just came in with 5 minutes and be like, you know what happened on May 11th? What makes May 11th special? The Diamond Sutra, the Byzantium, the Death of No Reading, Richard Feynman, the Dalai Lama, Salvador Dali, and did it like that, it would be, this. That's not how we work. That's not how we do it. Cryptic statements. You think the war will not affect you. Ukraine is coming to America. Well, if Ukraine comes to America, Ukraine can't come to America because Ukraine is a geographical location. So if you're saying, if you want to speak plainly and say something like this geopolitical situation, this and the other thing is going to come and roost, but then, why are you saying what you're saying here? And why are you saying you think? Like, you don't, like, what do you think my position is? What are you trying to communicate and why? You're obviously making assumptions about whole things, which means you have an agenda. So what are you? Are you human? Are you just, are you AI? Are you a bot protocol program sent by Putin? Because if Ukraine comes, I have no problem because I like Ukrainians. I mean, I've got generally no problem with the Ukraine. And I have no problem with if Russia comes over here. You know what I mean? The only person I have a problem with is Vladimir Putin. But I have a feeling that Vladimir Putin is not long for this world. You know what I mean? I don't think the Russian people are going to get him. I think the Russians around him are going to get him. They don't want to commit suicide. No one wants to see the world end in nuclear flames. So I think that his own people are going to get him. But let's see what you say. If America gets Ukraine, you haven't been paying attention. Okay. That's Nolan 412. There you go. All right. Yeah. No, I think this happens every once in a while. Banderite ideology. Maybe I'll look it up. Let's see. What's Banderite ideology? I'll bite. But then again, you're coming here. Banderite ideology. Banderite. Oh, here we go. Banderite. Banderite. Oh, whatever. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. No. I don't buy that. No. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so this is the problem that I had when I got upset with the person that I knew personally on Twitter. When I should have handled it by saying, you're spreading on Twitter stuff that I think is just pro Putin propaganda, and I don't think that you should. And I think you're doing it because you feel naturally politically like a country. And I'm not speaking to you, person with I don't. And if you could tell me how to pronounce your name phonetically, like in English, then I could say you, and then I would have an easier time. But this notion that the Ukrainian soldiers are actually like Nazis or something, and that the Russians are doing a good thing. You can fuck off with that all day. Putin is a dictator. Okay, he's a dictator, and he's going to be replaced. And the Ukrainians are fighting for their freedom, and they're being invaded by a horrible, horrible dictator who's going to be replaced. So if you're pro Putin, it's the same as being pro, Saddam Hussein. So you can be whatever you want to be, but I don't think you're being forthright and honest about who you are. And I don't think you're being forthright and honest about, expressing an actual point of view, because there's no indication that there's actually a heavy presence of, evil people in the Ukrainian, freedom fighters or whatever. And there's certainly no indication that they're going to come over here. And by the way, in case you're curious, I'm already dealing with fascists in America. I've dealt with, 4 years of Donald Trump and Proud Boys and QAnon. So if you think that I'm worried about fascists coming to America or Nazis coming to America because I'm worried about Ukrainians, I'm worried about people that are fans of Putin, because the same people that were fans of Trump were also fans of Putin. So were you a fan of Trump as well? Because you're the fucking fascist. Okay? But I'm here with my face out and with my name. You know what I mean? And you're here with, an eyeball and an inscrutable, what are you Greek Orthodox? Get the fuck out of here. Or stick around, but actually have a conversation. And don't just come here and think that you're just gonna like bomb out with, some stupid ass Banderite ideology thing, and that's a thing. You dumbass. But that's okay. You gave me. You don't even know how to pronounce it. You see, now here's the thing. Now here's where I got you. Greek for chivalry above self. Have you ever even kissed a girl? No, I'm kidding you. You probably bench. Sam Hyde taught you how to bench. Listen, I love you. Listen, I love you. If the Ukrainians come, I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it, and I'll deal with them when they arrive. Okay? I'll deal with it when it happens. In the meantime, how's this? 8 of Swords. Good. I asked you if you ever kissed a girl, and you tell me you have 5 children. But have you ever kissed a girl? So you have a problem. Do you have a problem with directive? Do you have a problem with understanding? You know what I mean? Here's the thing. You say yes, because you could have 5 children without kissing a girl, right? You could adopt kids. So you're not answering my question. I asked you if you could tell me how to pronounce that thing phonetically, and you told me what it means, because you could tell me what it means if you got that thing off a Wikipedia page, because you think it just is the hotness with just saying that, but you don't actually know how to pronounce it yourself. So that's what I'm doing here with you, kid. Do you think the Ukrainians are Nazis, and that the Russians are fighting them? What do you believe? What do you think? And why do you come in here with this? Why'd you come to my channel to tell me this? To tell us this? Talk to me. You want to talk to me? Talk to me. Take care, Luna Sparkles. Be good. Be good, sister. But it's what it is, baby. And then you don't have to. You certainly don't have to. It is, the live chat's there. You can come in here and be like, boo. You certainly didn't say anything insulting, disgusting, or offensive. You said, point of view. It is what it is. Lambda Theta Pi. Lambda. The Omega Moose. That's my answer to that question. Okay. 8 of Swords. It insists upon itself. Now look. I like this card from this deck. This is from the Egyptian Tarot from 2003. Okay. The way that it arranges these 8 swords is beautiful, because you see it's got the 5 swords on top. 5 is the number of man, right? You have 5 kids. 5 is the number of man. Earth, air, water, and fire, but connected, controlled by spirit that can draw those elements and draw those energies together and organize them and make them move. And those other 3 swords are organized on the bottom here, and they are arranged over this crocodile on the bottom. And 3 is the number, a divine number. We say hello to Sarath the mage. So we're invited by this card to see how the 5, the number of man, and the 3, the holy number, interact to create this 8, which of course on its side is the spirit of eternity. We say hello to the spirit descends. Hello to the spirit descends. You take the 8 and you put it on its side, you get that infinity symbol. And that's what I always see when I see the number 8, and 8 is one of my big time numbers for sure. So the 8 of Swords is hard because whenever we're dealing with the 8s of a suit, I feel like we're dealing with that energy. It's eternal, always moving and always present and always consistent state. And swords are the suit of the intellect and the mind. So think of a mind that's always on, that never sleeps. It's always at work. That never tires, but never can rest. That's tough. And that's so much of what our minds can feel like. But when we see this 3 separated out from the 5, and we see it illustrating this way, controlling this beast, we think of the reptilian mind, the lower part of the brain. We can see that if we can take this ever-present intellect that we have that can control everything and run all the time, but if we can learn how to manage it and order it right and keep the base managed and properly organized, then things can become easier to understand and easier to function and flow with. That's what I get from this 8 of Swords in this deck. That's what I like about it. David Bucky's screwdriver was a crappy band anyway. There you go. Got another card here. From the same deck, we have the Sun. The sun will come out tomorrow, and the sunlight is the cleanser. Shine a little light on the subject. Talk about it. Communicate. I know that it was my intention to say nothing, to give no energy to he who is trying to poke me and the situation as it barely smolders. But obviously there's part of me that's still, it's my life, and wants to say something. So I forgive myself. But I celebrate the growth, and I note the growth. I didn't run to the internet to run to the main channel to make a video. You note that I've not made a video saying, this is why this, and this is this, and this is why you're stupid, and this, blah, blah. I could. You don't think I could talk about why this report or why this thing or this interaction or this thing or this video or this statement or this thing is all ridiculous and silly, or why I'm not nervous about this, or why this is silly, or why I don't lose sleep at night, or that? I could. And it's not just that my hands are tied because of the lawsuit. Carrie Cassidy still makes, is making new stupid videos. Folks, when was the X-Files? Let's look this up. Hold on. When we talk about this 20-year nostalgia loop, here we go. Remember. Eesh. Why is it so large? Why did I explain? Wait, I put this. What the hell is this? Get the hell out of here. Here we go. Why did I go to IMDb? This is the worst. Here we go. The original television series aired from September 1993 till May of 2002 on Fox. September 1993, that is the 30-year nostalgia loop. So in a way, are we headed for a resurgence? But at a certain point, things run their course. So on the 20-year nostalgia loop would have been 10 years ago. So 1993 to 2003 to 2013. That makes a lot of fucking sense, right? Because that means that the 2012 would have been right at the 20-year nostalgia loop of fucking the X-Files. And it goes for 10 years. So we're really, excuse me my cursing, if it ended in 2002 to 2012 to 2022. The 20-year nostalgia loop for the end of the X-Files was last year. Does it start to make sense, folks? Does it start to make sense? Does that really start to make sense? That it was a 10-year run, and that the 20-year on from that 10-year run would have been 2013 to 2023. How well does that fit the fucking bill? But because it was a 10-year long show, what does that mean? Ouroboros, right? Because just as it originally loses steam, we're coming up on the 30-year loop for it. But the 30-year loop is not as strong as the 20. As we vibrate, it's strong, but it gets wankier and weirder. And when we get to 4, but then here's the thing, you also get the looping on top of looping on top of looping, where it gets really fucked up. But the problem we're having is this. You no longer have people that are distinguishing between reality and fiction. It used to be that you could show people, look, this is shit that they stole from this show. And then people would wake up. Oh, man, he stole it from a TV show. He stole it from a movie. Now, what is it? Oh, it's predictive programming. Oh, they put it in the comic books so that you think it's made up, but it's really real. So the fact that it's made in made up movies and media and fucked up shit and comic books doesn't disprove it. That's proof that it's real. Yeah. Game over. That's part of why I got out of this game. You can't listen, I know mental health professionals. And when I've gone through this whole process of recovery and going to therapy and then also just talking to my brother who's a psychiatrist, one of the central things that I've been able to learn, and it took me a long time to learn it, but it's part of the reason that I'm not doing the stuff that I used to do, is because I'm not doing this I've never done this to make fun of people. I've never done this to hurt people or destroy people. Fuck you. There's people out here that are doing it that always did it. Michael Amneros was mocking and making fun and willfully and joyfully being cruel to people. And there's certain people out here who are doing the same. If they're saying that they're doing some good or trying to expose the truth or trying to save people from scammers, Bull fucking shit. It's a comedy show. You're making fun of people who either think differently than you spiritually, and they just have a different spiritual and religious point of view, and you're making fun of them because when they do their spiritual practices, they channel and they speak in light language, and you think that that's funny. That's me. You would never play a videotape of an African tribesman or someone from Java singing their native song, going and play it and go and making fun of them. But if a white person does it in a new age or spiritual context and says that they're contacting the spirit, you play to make fun of them. You know what? You're an ignorant person. I never engage in that bullshit. The losers that followed me do, because they're fucking idiot losers. They're not intelligent. They're stupid people. They're dumb, ignorant, cruel, moronic people. And that's why they produce the content that they produce. It just is what it is. It is what it is. But I was never making fun of people. I wasn't. But when I realized that what the mental health professionals taught me was you cannot fight crazy. You're not going to win in a fight against crazy. You're not going to lay out a salient, logical, rational argument that is going to make the person that has decided to lie about the cosmic origins of the hypercube stop lying about it. You're not going to, in a long-distance relationship with someone that has no reason to commit to your game plan of spiritual reformation, you are not going to convince a stranger to stop thinking zany. And you're certainly not on some sort of global scale convince people to stop, giving their money to charlatans. It is not a good way to spend your energy. It's a no-win situation. It's a lost leader. It's just going to create negative feelings, conflict and confusion, and frustration. It's going to raise your blood pressure. Oh, and by the way, when you actually get sued and tell people about how much your attorney's fees are, guess what? 99.9% of the people that told you, we're in your corner, man, and thank you, and you mean the best, you're the won't even give you 50 fucking cents. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you the reality of what it is. But it's okay. It's all okay. Here we go. Here we go. 20-year loop is real. We are living through the collapse of the 9/11 wave function now. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see. Because the 20-year nostalgia loop for 9/11 would have been September 11th, 2021. And, it is. But, look, it is what it is. Bono is doing illustrations for the Atlantic now because everything is fake and stupid. Well, listen, it is. I mean, it is. When you recycle things over and over again, over and over and over and over and over again, there's no winning. There's no winning. David Bucky, you're allowed to love whoever you want to love. That's fine. David Bucky, bringing back the classics. I'll even highlight the listen. I'll even highlight the quote. Listen, like, hey, listen. Hashtag Cats Live Matter. There you go. But listen, if you invoke that, we have to invoke the Chanter's Curse. I was right about the Chanter's Curse. I was right about about cryptocurrency, and apparently I'm right about the 20-year nostalgia loop. So, kiss my ass. Boom, and that's why I trust your flow. There you go. Thank you, Jonty. I'll assume you're talking about me. He says that while I'm laughing here on the mountain peaks of Mars. Allegedly. Do not get emotionally involved in the collapse of the wave function. It will drag you down with it. You don't want to get emotionally involved with the collapse of it. We don't want to get emotionally involved with anything in particular, right? David Bucky, good advice. There will always be a new grift anyway, especially with new age UFO stuff, right? You want to spend our time, finding the perfect grain of sand on the ocean? Been Patreon so long. I remember when he posted the Patreon. Well, Blueberry Wolf Bridge. Listen. I'll get back there. I'm either gonna start posting the Patreon or end the Patreon. Look. I mean, at a certain point, we really have to figure out what's gonna go happen with this lawsuit. At a certain point, if once the lawsuit is resolved, I may make certain decisions in regards to the Patreon, or change it in different directions, or just end one and start a different thing. Here's Mary. We'll just highlight this because Mary, I love this. A serpent's coil is child's play. I can make a werewolf disappear. Just ask Dietrich. He'll tell you all about it. Listen. RMFN, wave function collapse. Thomas Sheridan fan spotted. I'll take it. I'll take any fans I can get. I'll take anyone's fans. Sterling Scott, good peeps, get screwed. Hey, Mr. Moore, I believe. Thank you for what you're saying, CW. Send it. Long time no see. Kevin Moore. My kids know who Kevin Moore is. All right, baby. Long time no see. It's going to take a staggering faith in the great what simply is. There. Okay, here we go. Hey, if I don't know exactly what it is, sometimes, Sterling, I don't exactly highlight it. Sometimes because I don't know what. I'll highlight what. Hey, listen, going to show that we may have diverse opinions on some things and we may agree on others. U.S. presidential elections are children's entertainment. The U.S. needs separation of media and state. Couldn't agree more, baby. Listen, folks, we give and we take, we ebb and we flow. We did a whole bunch of cards in 2003. I feel like the energy to end on a card. So where's my 98 deck? Where did I put that bad boy? Where's the Cosmic Tarot? Where you hiding on me, baby? You're hiding. You're not. I've got the box, but you're not in the box. What the hell? Oh man, it's already. Jeez, I gotta get out of here. We're gonna do another one from the Egyptian Tarot because the fates have conspired against me. Oh no, I know where it is theoretically. Oh, whoa, we got a reading because I got 3 cards. Oh, we got the Eight of Swords again. We got the Eight of Swords the Knave of Chalices, and the Ace of Cups. And we got this guy right in between, so I know exactly what this means. Harness and control your mind. Learn how to ride and surf the waves of your mind and your intellect. Study and understand your emotions, and then learn how to flow with them with the exact same ease. But like, okay, so here's the deal. Emotions can be tumultuous, thoughts can be tumultuous. Learn how to observe things in their natural state, like the flow of water in its various states, and know and understand that your mind is like this, a natural thing. And learn how to observe your emotions in your mind in the same way, and study the results, and know the results, and know yourself. That's what we should do. And we should not insult people who are not here, Mary. No reason to talk shit about anybody or anybody's looks. You know what I mean? Just, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Just, well, you know what I mean? You got better things to do. I love you. 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 I love you all. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. That's somebody CW Chanter. And I'll keep on telling you that I love you. Okay? I'll talk to you soon.